Hi ho, it's home from work we go. Do 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 do. Hi ho, hi ho, hi ho. Hey, friendship friends, how are you? I hope that it's a good day. We have this week been talking about the seven little men that Snow White loved, or that loved Snow White, the seven dwarfs. And so far, we've talked about Bashful and Doc and Dopey. And so today, we're going to talk a little bit about the man who always walked around with his arms folded and said no, Mr. Grumpy. Some say that Grumpy had an attitude worse than a spoiled only child. He always had something to complain about or argue about, and he always was ready to say no to doing anything and everything. He was always questioning what he was being told to do and being asked to do, and so that made him pretty grumpy all the time. Grumpy had the biggest nose of the dwarfs. You remember that? Oh, and it fell off. Ha! And he was frequently seen with one eye shut, or you could spot him with his little red tunic. But most of all, his know-it-all attitude and his stubbornness just was enough to make him grumpy all the time. Now, you might remember there was a one couple times when Snow White was helping the dwarfs clean up and wash, and Grumpy's one line was, "What a fine bunch of water lilies you turned out to be! I'd like to see anybody make me wash if I didn't wanna." So Grumpy carried that persona with him that no one could tell him what to do, and if it was something that he thought he didn't like, he was going to let you know it pretty quick. There was another line that I remember where Grumpy is saying as he's watching the dwarfs wash themselves, he says, "Next thing you know, she'll be tying up your beards in pink ribbons and smelling you up with that stuff called perfume." Yep, again, just not wanting to follow everybody and be his own person and be a bit grumpy. But Grumpy really was a softy at heart, even though he initially opposed Snow White's presence. There goes that nose again. Snow White's presence in the dwarf's home. He later warned her of the threat, and he feared for her safety. In fact, I remember he says, "Now I'm warning you, Snow White, don't let nobody or nothing in this house." And Snow White says, "Why, Grumpy, you do care." And she kissed him on the head. And then he just got sort of little, like all mushy and smiled and ran into the tree. You remember that? Yeah, that was a funny scene. Now, but the question is that do you like grumpy people or are you grumpy sometimes? You know, I guess sometimes we have reasons to be grumpy. Things don't go our way, and the day's turning out not like we wanted it to be, and we can get a little down and we can get a little grumpy. We just don't want to do the things that we should be doing or somebody has asked us to do. But I think we all know that being around grumpy people is not the most pleasant thing, is it? It can sometimes actually ruin our days if we're hanging around grumpy people all the time. 1 Thessalonians 5:16 to 18 shares this wisdom for us. Always be joyful. Never stop praying. Give thanks no matter what happens. God wants you to thank Him because you believe in Jesus Christ. Of all people, we should be the less grumpiest. Is that a good word? Yes, the less grumpiest because we believe in God. We know that He loves us and that He's given us tools and resources to be happy and to be joyful. What greater joy it is to know that I'm loved by God. And that helps me through my days, even on the days when I feel like being a bit grumpy. Remember that. There's another word of wisdom in 1 Peter 4:9, and it says, "Welcome others into your home without complaining." Now, that would have been a good verse for grumpy, wouldn't it have? Welcome others into your home without complaining. In other words, be the kind of person that is welcoming to others in your actions and in your voice and in your tone and in everything that you can. Don't be so grumpy. Do you know that how we talk affects other people? If I'm grumpy, it could take your day and make it a bad day. I don't want that. If you're grumpy, it can affect other people around you as well. Yeah. Colossians 4, verse 6 says, "Let the words you speak always be full of grace." Let the words you speak always be full of grace. So, how can we help grumpy people? Well, by speaking words that are full of grace. Yeah, by being kind to each other and by trying to say pleasant things to each other, even if we're not feeling that way inside. 1 Peter 3:9, we've talked about a lot of scriptures here today. You can come back and listen to them and maybe find them again. 1 Peter 3:9 says, don't pay back evil with evil. Don't pay back unkind words with unkind words. Instead, pay them back with kind words. Be kind to each other today. Don't be grumpy. And if someone else is grumpy, let's just give them a smile. I want today to be one of the most ungrumpiest days that you've ever had. So don't be sad. Be grumpy. Don't be like Grumpy the Elf. Sorry about that. But have a great day and be at peace. I'll see you later.